All right, welcome to another Card Vine series. Today we're going to be talking about using music to teach reading, writing, and math. My name is Dr. Marlene Sotelo, and I'm the Director of Education and Training at the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities at the NOVA Satellite Office. I actually started in the field as a music therapist. I graduated from the University of Miami Music School and continued on in the field of autism and special education, but I continued to still use my music with many of the children that I work with. And so I hope to impart some information to you today on how you can use music effectively to teach various academic skills. And you don't need to be a musician to use music because there's so many things out there available to you to be able to use that's already recorded. And you'd be surprised at how you can even use simple songs that everyone knows, such as the melody for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or other simple songs like The Wheels on the Bus, but you just change the lyrics to them, or maybe you would just use some rhythmic patterns. So really anyone can use music as a tool to teach various skills. And hopefully by the end of today's session, you'll have acquired a few ideas that you can try with your own child at home or with your student. So let's go ahead and get started now. I'm hoping that you're able to see on the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little window that says Files 2. And underneath that, it says Music for Reading, Writing, Math PDF. That is a copy of my PowerPoint that I'm sharing with you today, and with all the links to the websites that have all the information that I'll be sharing with you. So what you'll do if you would like to access that is to go down to the bottom left-hand corner that says Upload File. You'll click on that, and it'll ask you where you would like to save the file. And you would just save it onto your computer, and then you can print it or just have access to it on your computer. And this way you can follow along with me and have it for future reference. Okay, so why are we going to use music? Music really stimulates the brain, and it does so on many levels. This has been researched, and more research is coming out every day on the power of music because it is a multisensory experience. It also, as the quote says below, it activates links to several parts of the brain, whereby regular auditory information may only be accessed through one channel of the brain. Music, because of the melody and the rhythm, help you to access information in different parts of your brain. So it really does provide another learning channel. One of the things that music can really help to do is provide powerful triggers for memory and recall. This is not only true for the elderly, but obviously very true for all of us. And if you've noticed with young children, they often learn the lyrics to a song very quickly, even more so than being able to use language as a communicative function for everyday functional life skills. And so they're able to memorize it because of the rhythm, the melody, the predictability that is in the language of music. And for the elderly that are having memory problems, music really helps them to touch base with their life in the past and helps them to remember those good times and will help them to reconnect with those that they might have lost connection with because of memory loss. Music can also accelerate the learning process and improve comprehension. So in this picture here, I'm working with a little boy here doing the song Five Green and Speckled Frogs. It's a great song to be able to teach counting back. A lot of children can count forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they may have trouble counting backwards. And in this song, the frogs start disappearing, and you can see I use a visual support where I have the numbers, and as each frog in the song jumps off the log, we take a number off. And so we're able to teach that math skill of counting backwards, but through a song. And the music allows the student to be able to tap into that other part of their brain where they can learn the information through a different channel. Music and movement also improve the development of thinking skills and motor planning. let's think about how much it takes just to play, let's say, the piano. For those learning to play the piano, they have to be able to coordinate what they're seeing on the page to the keys on the piano, on the keyboard. So they're really having to plan motorically as well as intellectually what they're seeing and what they're doing. When we're teaching movements such as to a dance or coordinated, whether it's a simple dance or a line dance, it really takes a great deal of motor planning. And motor planning is an issue for many individuals with autism spectrum disorders. But of course, we found that in various other disabilities as well. But the wonderful thing about music is that because of the rhythm and the motivational aspects of the songs themselves, the individual is able to plan more effectively and more efficiently through a song rather than just having to motor plan in a stagnant activity. So coordinated movements, songs, marching, dances can really help in the development of motor planning skills. It also helps students to process and understand important concepts. So in this picture, I was working with a young man in learning how to control impulsivity. And so working on understanding stop and start, loud and soft, which are stop and start are concepts that can be used obviously in everyday life. But in addition, for the loud and soft, we know that there are some individuals on the autism spectrum that have difficulty with voice volume. And so it becomes a very abstract concept for them to understand when we're talking about voice. But when we're using music instruments and we're using songs to be able to discuss the difference between loud and soft and fast and slow, it becomes more motivating and there's something tangible that they can connect those concepts to. So you can use the music as a way of processing those more challenging abstract concepts for the individual. Music also affects self-esteem and has that profound effect on emotions and behavior. When I used to teach in a classroom setting, I taught regular ed third grade. I also taught special education classroom, kindergarten through fifth grade. And I used to do a lot of songwriting. You can imagine for some students, writing a book report is quite challenging for them, especially those individuals that have language comprehension challenges and reading comprehension challenges. It may be very difficult for them to understand what is being read and then to actually share with you what they have learned about that story. And so instead of writing a book report, I would have them write a song about the characters in the story. And it was quite powerful to see how the idea of writing a song instead of having to write a book report really changed their ability to show what they know. And that really comes with the idea of universal design for learning, where we are using a variety of tools not only to teach, but we're using a variety of tools for students to be able to show us what they have learned. And what's more important, in the book report itself or the demonstration that they know something? And if they're able to do it with a song and write a song about the main characters and what the characters did in the story and how the story ended, but with a song, to me, that is a demonstration of what they have learned. Being also able to perform in front of others in a way that maybe they normally wouldn't be able to is quite powerful for building self-esteem. In this picture, these are a group of individuals with special needs that I had the pleasure of conducting. They sang the national anthem at a Marlins game. So let's talk about the power of music in everyday experiences. I can't imagine that there's anybody out there that doesn't listen to music. I can tell you I haven't come in contact with anybody thus far in all of my experiences. I've been involved with music all my life. My father was a singer and I was a professional singer, went to music school, and I've never found anybody who doesn't listen to music. And nowadays, music is everywhere. Video games that children are so attracted to have music. The iPad, every iPad app starts with a little song when you click on it and it opens up. There are music videos on YouTube, on MTV. Our MP3 players, everyone's carrying around their own music device. And I can tell you that a majority of the individuals that I've worked with, they love to hear music. And music is soothing. They might even have specific types of music that they really enjoy. Some might really like classic rock, or they may know a lot of classical music, and it brings joy to them. It brings them motivation and helps them connect with others. We have cell phone ringers, right? I don't personally have songs on my cell phone as I always have it on vibrate, but many people do have cell phone ringers, specific songs for specific people because they associate that person, whether it's their husband or their friend, they associate that person with that song. And so music really does help to build associations, and we need to really build on that power. And then, of course, there's also many music-based TV shows. I know I'm a big fan of The Voice. There's the American Idol, and many others as well. And some research shows us that music is a central part of life for many students and may serve as a vehicle for self-expression and emotional release. In another study, it demonstrated that approximately 90% of students listen to music on a daily basis. And while many, in addition to listening to music, they also play a musical instrument. So that gives us some pretty high data in regards to the power of music in students' life and how present it is in their everyday life. So the goal here is to use this vehicle, this tool, to be able to teach things that are so complex and abstract for these individuals. So why are we going to use music with special needs students? Music is a form of social routine, and it encourages turn taking, whether it's taking turns playing an instrument or taking turns singing a song. It also fosters responsiveness in children that are hard to engage. I have music instruments here in my office, and sometimes there are children that I see here in the office that really aren't interested in the toys. Often they're interested in the window behind me and looking at the cars outside. But when they see my guitar, when they see the drum, it pulls them in. It brings them to a place where they can connect with me. And you don't necessarily have to know how to play the drum or play the guitar. Just strumming the strings really helps to connect with them. Because music is a repetitious form of play, the children quickly learn to recognize a tune and they anticipate what's coming next. This also serves true for a lot of cartoons. We know that many of our students, they want to watch the same part of a video or listen to the same part of a song over and over because they know what's coming. It's predictable for them. And so if we use that predictability in music to teach concepts, then the students will be able to understand and learn it and memorize it more so than if it's done without the music. And if at any moment you have a question, feel free to type into the chat box at the bottom right-hand corner. But at the end, I will allow for some questions and answers time as well. So children also respond to rhythm and intonation. Intonation is the fluctuation of sound. It's in our voice as well as in the voice when we sing. And they respond to this even before they understand language. So if you think about an infant, and when we're talking to the infant, they may not understand our words, but when we talk really excited, they respond, versus when we're talking low and monotone, they're not going to react the same as if when we talk really high and we talk to children in that high-pitched voice and they respond to it, right? So it is ingrained in them to be able to respond to this type of rhythm and intonation. In addition, the tone patterns, the stress and the rhythm that you find in music is also a very magnetic tool at a very young age. Music can also be used to encourage vocal play. Uh, for those students that have minimal speech, I've had students that I've worked with in the past that they may not speak with many words, but yet they can sing a whole song. And so if we can put music to their speech, they may be able to use that as a tool to communicate with us more so. Also, music often has a physical component to it, such as moving the body, making physical contact with another person, sharing an instrument, or being part of a group playing an instrument. The lyrics in itself help language comprehension. And when you sing a familiar song repeatedly in the daily context of the child's life, the child is now able to make associations with key words. So we might sing a song about brushing our teeth, or we may sing a song about making our bed. Um, I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the song of Barney. You've probably heard it a million times of, the cleanup song, clean up, everybody do their share. But it's powerful when you see these kids, as soon as you start singing that song, a majority of them will start cleaning up. So they know the routine, they know what's expected, but through the song. And they're more prone to do it when it's part of a song than if someone just said, all right, you need to go clean up. Participation in music also can be nonverbal. So you may not have to emphasize speech necessarily because you can just be using musical instruments. So music is a universal language. It can be used in a non-threatening setting to help in developing relationships, learning academics, developing self-expression, communication, social skills, and both gross and fine motor skills. And this was taken from a master's thesis from Jane Barrow-Moore. These references are at the end of the presentation, so if you wanted to read more about it, you can. But I really like this quote because it summarizes everything that we just discussed regarding the power of music. So how do we now incorporate the use of music for academic goals? You might say, okay, this sounds really great, Marlene, but you're a music therapist and you're a musician and you know how to do this. Well, no, yes, I do know how to do it, but you can do it too. We can use music for all areas of academics, for reading, for social readiness, for numbers, and these are more for younger kids, but we can still use music also for older kids as well, and I'll be giving you some examples. For writing readiness, the children may not want to hold a pencil and work on fine motor skills using pencils or pens or markers, but give them a mallet, what you hit a drum with, or give them a keyboard to point onto the keyboard each of the notes. They're much more prone to work on those skills using an instrument versus using tools that they find aversive because it's so difficult for them to write. So you can use those instruments as a way of transitioning into those fine motor skills that you're working on. When you're working on motor skills, jumping and crawling and climbing and skipping, when you put that to music, it is a lot more motivating as well to teach and to learn than if you're just having them walk up the steps in your office or having them button or snap just on a doll. What if we sang a dress-up song? We're going to dress the doll and we sing the song instead. Now it becomes part of the activity of singing versus just doing it to do it. The music at that point works as a motivator to get the child engaged. So let's look at some specific academic areas now that we've gone over why music is so powerful and how the research demonstrates the effective use of it. So for general academics, we can have a goal of increasing the duration of in-seat behavior to 1 minute. I guarantee you that if you have a musical instrument or if you're singing a song with some puppets, some manipulatives, that child is going to sit longer, be able to stay in their seat longer than they would if you were just doing a stagnant reading activity of just reading a book. So we can work on increasing their ability to sit in the assigned area through music and then slowly fade out the music, whereby then they have to listen to a story and then bring the music back and then maybe they have to sit until we do calendar time and then bring back the music. Um, we can use music for a goal of matching colors, shapes, pictures, numbers by using a variety of folder types of activities, which I'll be giving you a reference for. We can use songs to teach those concepts. We can also work on pointing receptively to identify objects, but again, using a song instead of just say point to the cat or point to the dog. Well, why don't we do it through Old MacDonald Had a Farm or Down on Grandpa's Farm, one of those other animal type songs, or the number song. We can have them identify numbers and pointing to them receptively on a board that has a variety of distractors, but instead of doing it in a stagnant way, we're now doing it with a song. Counting skills to 10 by pointing in succession or counting backwards, as you saw in the example of the frog song. We can also use music for rote memorization, the states, the continents, math facts, and I'll be showing some video examples in a little while of all of these types of activities. We can also teach math skills for time and money, and use of writing utensils, as I mentioned, instead of just having them work on fine motor skills with a pencil or a crayon, we can use musical instruments to help work on the fine motor skills that they are lacking in. So let me show you some sample IEP goals that might be used, or maybe if you're working on a home program, these might be some goals that would be incorporated into the home program. Grant will take turns using a shared musical instrument with one peer for 2 exchanges in 4 out of 5 opportunities. So you may not necessarily have to specify that it's using a shared musical instrument. The goal might actually be Grant will take turns with one peer for 2 exchanges in 4 out of 5 opportunities. But one of the tools you're going to be using in taking turns is actually a musical instrument, because that might be more engaging for the student. Another goal would be that Grant will answer yes/no questions. Do you want the drum? Do you want the xylophone? Do you want the Barney song? And they're going to answer yes or no. We are aware that many students with autism spectrum disorder at an early stage have difficulty saying yes or no, even nodding appropriately to those types of questions. So we can work on that through a song. Another one would be that Grant will request a preferred item. Here it says preferred instrument, song, or activity, but we could say Grant will request a preferred item using a preferred mode of communication, using a 2-word combination. My guitar wants xylophone, more music, in 4 out of 5 opportunities. So the same goal that is being used for other items, we can also do it with songs, with dancing or marching activities, or with instruments. And lastly, Grant will follow 1-step action commands. Give me, get the, stand by, as stated by the teacher, given a gestural prompt. And this, again, could be done as part of the beginning of a music activity, like give me the drum, or go get the xylophone, stand by me so that we can do our dance, or it could be actually incorporated into a song that we were to write. And then they would be actually following the directions, but within the context of the lyrics of the song. All right, so some creative ways to integrate music across the curriculum, and this information was obtained through the website intellitunes.com. It's a great resource for you. If you're in the classroom as a teacher, or maybe even if you're working with your own child at home, you can write and display lyrics on chart paper. If your child is always singing the same song over and over again, get a big piece of paper, like a poster board. You can even go to Office Depot, and they have giant Post-it note boards that are the size of a poster board. Write the lyrics to your child's favorite song on that chart paper. And when they sing it, you're going to be like the old-fashioned follow the bouncing ball and have them track the words, the lyrics to their favorite song on the chart paper. All right, you might even use some picture symbols to support the lyrics at the beginning while they're learning to make the association with the words that they're singing and the words that they're seeing on the paper. You could also teach vocabulary words from lyrics. So if there's a concept that you're trying to teach, let's say uh, let's say you're trying to talk about hibernation and you want kids to understand the word hibernation. You might use the word, I'm going on a bear hunt, which I'll show you the video of. And within the lyrics of I'm going on a bear hunt, you could kind of throw in the word hibernation. I wonder if he's hibernating in the cave. And you'll be able to teach the meaning of that more complex word, but through the lyrics of a song. For those that are in the audience that are teachers, you're familiar with what a pocket chart is. It's kind of like a big poster that has these little pockets, and you can put strips of paper on each row. So each individual strip could have a sentence, which is a sentence from the lyrics of the song, and then they can put the lyrics in order. So we're talking about sequencing, knowing what came first in the song, what came second, what came last, but you're doing it with songs that they really like, and you're teaching sequencing, which is an important skill for many things, but one is for reading comprehension, storytelling, and writing. But you're doing it with individual sentence strips where you've broken down the lyrics to a song. You can create a PowerPoint or a smartboard activity using song lyrics, and I'll show you some examples in a moment. I'm also going to show you an example of using drama, plays, and puppet shows as a way of also retelling a story that the child has read. They could do a part in a play. They can make a puppet show where the puppet sings the story. And then listening, working on listening skills would be on creative writing and cooperative learning. So if you're in a classroom, you can have them work together on listening to the lyrics and then trying to find meaning of them. And I'm going to show you an example. Or you can have them work in a cooperative group to actually write a song or write one verse of a song that has to do with the story or the concept that you're teaching. And again, I'm going to be giving you some examples of these in a moment. Other ways is that they can illustrate the favorite parts of the song. So you would think about what is their favorite songs, and then they would be able to draw pictures, and maybe they would match the picture with the sentence. So you're doing comprehension using visual supports, using music, where they're actually being able to learn and augment their vocabulary, augment their ability to read, decode the sentences, and you have the visual support where they're able to then show comprehension of it by matching the picture that goes along with that portion of the song. Movement and dance, we've already talked about. Singing to read, these are just some examples of some other ways that we can integrate music. This is one book, Integrating Music and Reading Instruction. And again, the actual reference for that book is at the end of the presentation. Another one is the one you see there, Times Table Tunes. It's all the multiplication tables, but all through songs. So some additional sample goals directly with academics, more higher level academics. One would be that Grant will independently read sight words at a primer level when presented within preferred song lyrics. So what are sight words? Sight words are also known as Dolch words. They're those words that are most commonly found in the English language. Some examples are colors, numbers, and of course the, and, that, girl, boy, is. Those words are found most commonly in the English language, and that is one of the first stepping stones that we do as teachers in teaching reading, because those are the words that children are going to come in contact most often when they're speaking, when they're listening, when they're reading, and when they're writing. And so we start with those. And of course, song lyrics are full of sight words. So what a great way to go on a sight word hunt when you have the lyrics of a really cool song that the kids like up on a chart, or maybe you have it up on your whiteboard or smartboard, and the kids have to come over and they have to be detectives and find all the sight words that are on the list that you've given them. Again, it's more motivating for them. They find it, they're looking at those words in the context of true literature or true songs that they hear on a regular basis instead of in isolation. Another goal would be that Grant will identify basic parts of speech, nouns and verbs in preferred song lyrics. All right, so same thing. We put up the lyrics of a song and we have the children or the individual student find all the nouns, all the people, places, and things that they can find in the song. And then they might actually find pictures that go along with those nouns. Same thing with the verbs. What are all the actions that we can find in this song? Same thing that we would do with whatever piece of literature we're using, but for some students, the literature doesn't have any meaning to them. Because of their language and reading comprehension challenges, those pieces of literature or those poems that we use to teach sight words or to teach nouns or verbs may not have meaning to them. But those children are singing songs at home, full songs, and they sing them over and over. So why not use that song to have them learn the nouns and the verbs and the sight words, right? Grant will name 50 states of the United States of America by singing the state song. I don't know if any of you know the state song. I have a video of my son in third grade singing, and it's the cutest thing, and he has never forgotten it since then. When I ask him, okay, go for it, he's 15 now. This was in third grade. I tell him, sing all the names of the states, tell me the state, and he'll do it, but with the song. So the song has stayed with him all of these years. I can tell you that when I was in 7th grade, they had us learn all of the linking verbs through a repeated rhythmic way. And so they would have us chunk all of these linking verbs, and it was a contest who could say all of the linking verbs in 1 minute and have them all. And to this day, I still remember them because they were done in a rhythmic way. So it's be, am, is, are, was, were, been, being, have, has, had, must, make, can, might, could, would, should, do, does, did, shall, will. I think I missed a couple just because I'm giving the presentation. But with that rhythmic pattern, I was able to memorize them, and still to this day, I can do the same thing that I did back in 7th grade, which was a long time ago. Grant will answer basic WH questions of songs after reading and singing the lyrics. So what happened in that song? Who was the song about? Where did the song take place? Where were they? What happened? Let's put it in order. When did this happen? Oh, it was in the morning. They're talking about the sun coming up. Oh, Mr. Sun, sun, Mr. Golden Sun, please shine down on me. Who is the story about? The sun. What is the sun going to do? He's going to shine on me. When do you think the story takes place? Oh, it must be in the morning when the sun is rising. So we can teach those WH questions, but using songs. So let's look at each of the academic areas, math, and then we'll do reading and language arts. And I'm going to show you some video examples. Hopefully you'll be able to see them on the screen, and maybe you can let me know if they don't come up, but I think they will. All right, so hopefully some of you out there have heard of Schoolhouse Rock. I grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, and again, to this day, I can still remember the songs, Conjunction Junction, and I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill, Zero the Hero, and it's very powerful. You can find all the Schoolhouse Rock videos and songs on YouTube. I'm going to show you them in a moment. These are all links to videos and or songs. Some of them are videos, some of them are just a song. And you can click on the link once you download the handouts that I gave you. But for right now, I'm going to show you one of them. It's Counting Up. And this is actually a music therapist that is working with a young child that was having difficulty with a math concept. And so he's going to be using music as well as a puppet to be able to help this student to learn the concept while at the same time helping the puppet who's struggling with the same concept. So this way it takes the stress off the child and really makes it all about the problem that this puppet's having. So let me share this with you. If you can give me one moment to pull up the website for you. All right, I think I got it. And it says tap to view on your screen. So if you can just tap it, and then you'll let me know if you can see it.
This math stuff is tricky. Hey, Parker, how does the song go?
Oh, Sally, you got here now.
Oh, thank you. How does that song go?
Say the number and count on up.
Oh, can you show me?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Is it 8? It is 8. Ah, Parker, good job. You're so smart. Oh, yeah. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video.
Okay. Were you able to see that video? Hopefully. All right, great. So it was just a simple song. Count the number and count on up. Right, and it continues on, count on up, count on up. So he used the song to teach the concept, and then he used the puppet as a way of the child teaching the puppet instead of the child feeling so bogged down by the fact that they don't know how to do it. All right, so that's the link up here that says counting up. You can watch the whole video. The music therapist on that actually on the video shows you the whole process of why he did it, how he got the song, and then how he did it with the child. So I just wanted to give you a quick idea. The other ones on here, there's a song that is about telling time, how to tell time on a clock, as well as the coins in a dollar. And the music and the lyrics will help the children to memorize these concepts that might be quite challenging for them. Fractions can be quite challenging. Money, understanding what the names of the coins are and what they're all worth, can be very challenging for some of the kids, especially if they're not using money on a daily basis, and their parents are always the ones buying things, and they don't understand that money is so powerful that they can get good stuff with it. This way, it makes it more tangible for them and easier for them to be able to understand. So there's a company called Prelude Music Therapy, and they provide a variety of songs and file folder activities to be able to teach different concepts. One of them is, this is an example, it's called Adding Numbers is a Snap. And you can see at the top there that the song is to the tune of Coming Round the Mountain. So the song goes, adding numbers really is a snap. Adding numbers really is a snap. I can add these numbers, I can add these numbers. Adding numbers really is a snap. 0 plus 1 is 1, I see the sun. And then you would sing that same verse over and over again. 0 plus 1 is 1, I see the sun. So it's really cute. It comes with some visuals as well. You can make the file folder activity with all the visuals inside. And what I've done is at the back of the file folder, I have the lyrics to the song. You might say, well, gosh, Marlene, you know, I can't read music, but you do know the tune to Coming Around the Mountain. So you don't need to be able to read the music unless you wanted to play along on a piano or some other instrument. So again, this is called Prelude Music Therapy, and they have these binders that you can purchase, and you can create the file folder activities from the book that they've created. I have many of these materials in my office. If you are local and you would be interested in a song to teach a certain concept for your child, you're welcome to contact me. my email address. It is on the front of the PowerPoint, but I'll go ahead and write it into the chat box as well right now. It's msotello@nova.edu. All right, so let's talk about singing to read. I'm sure many of you have either participated in karaoke or you have at least been somewhere where karaoke has occurred, right? And I have a friend of mine who actually told me the funniest story because she said, okay, fine, I'll go up there and do karaoke. And then the lyrics weren't there. And so she just stood there frozen in time because she went up there to sing, but she was expecting the lyrics to be in front of her. So we can use the idea of karaoke as a great way to teach decoding and to teach reading. So we can use the songs, we can record them, and then have the lyrics on a PowerPoint, and so they can sing along while they're following along to the lyrics and they're seeing the words as they go along. There's also on YouTube, there are many videos where it's follow the bouncing ball, and these are already on YouTube available for you. So there's songs, and while the song is going, the ball bounces on top of each word. And that's a great way for the students to see it over and over again and look at those words while they're hearing them, while they're singing them, and building their ability to read by sight instead of through decoding, because some students that we work with really have a challenge with decoding skills and have to be taught more in a whole word instruction where it's just learning words by sight. So these are some examples. One of them is I know an old lady who swallowed a fly, and I'll go ahead and pull that up so I can show it to you. Okay, in 1 second. I have to change the pods that I'm sharing with you on the screen. Oops, I shared the wrong one. I apologize. Thanks for being patient with me while I pull this up. Here it goes. I think it should be here. All right. I'm hoping that you're able to see it now. It should be a YouTube screen that says, I know an old lady who swallowed a fly. I know I can see it on my device here. I have a second device giving me feedback as to whether or not you all can see what I see. All right. And so let me go ahead and play it for you.
I know an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I know an old lady who swallowed a spider that wriggled and jiggled and tingled inside her. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I know an old lady who swallowed a bird. How absurd to swallow a bird.
Okay, I'm hoping that you were able to see that. On the screen of YouTube, there was the song. You heard the music, and then also the lyrics were coming up on each page. So what you could do is play the whole song, and then you can have individual sheets where each page of the PowerPoint of the book has the lyrics, and then you can have the children look for common words. So I is a sight word. No is actually a sight word as well. An, old is another sight word. Right there, you have 4 sight words just in that beginning sentence. So they can go on a sight word hunt. They can also learn the different items that the old lady swallows, so you're building the vocabulary as well. All right, another really great one that I like that shows the power of rhythm and rhyme is Going on a Bear Hunt. I'm sure you've heard this song before, and this song, the only thing I don't like about this video is that it doesn't show the lyrics. So I would actually change this video and add the lyrics to it. But what I like about it is that it's showing the song with pictures to help add meaning. So what I would do maybe is show the video, sing the song, and then I would have I would print out the pictures that are actually in the video, and I would put the lyrics on top and create a book of the song that the students could then follow along to each page while we're actually watching the video and singing. So let me go ahead and pull that one up so you can see.
Hey everybody, we're going on a bear hunt. Are you afraid?
I'm not afraid.
We're going on a bear hunt.
We're going on a bear hunt.
Take pictures with my camera.
Take pictures with my camera.
I'm not sure if you're seeing it. If someone oh, maybe now. It's coming up now. I have a device open. I have my iPhone open with the same class that you're in right now, making sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. But I guess it's just on a delay. Okay, so let me go ahead and continue pressing play. I apologize. I just want to make sure that you're seeing what I'm trying to show you. All right, so let's keep
Open
going.
up the door, squeak.
Open up the door, squeak.
Walk down the road.
Walk down the road.
Coming to a wheat field.
Coming to a wheat field.
Can't go under it.
Can't go under it.
Can't go over it.
Can't go over it.
Have to walk through it.
Have to walk through it.
Got through the wheat field.
Got through the wheat field.
Coming to a bridge.
Coming to a bridge.
Can't go under it.
Can't go under it.
Have to walk over it.
All right, so let's think about the concepts that were taught in that song. First of all, there's a ton of sight words in that song. I am going, go is a sight word. On, so right there, almost the entire sentence is full of sight words. Second of all, it talks so many actions. Going, climbing, running, walking, all of those are verbs. Then it's all the things that they see. They see the bear, they see the bridge, they see the wheat field. So there we have all the nouns, all right? And then we're also teaching prepositions, going over, going under, going through it. So we can teach prepositions, but through a song. So there's so much in that song that can be used to teach concepts of reading and language arts. So I really like that one. And let me just make sure that you are seeing the PowerPoint again. Okay, great. So again, you have the links here that you're able to use. The other one that I have here is Down by the Bay, where the watermelon grows, which is a great song as well. And there are many, many more. Honestly, YouTube it can be a foe, but it really is a friend for us as educators and as parents, because there's so much that is out there readily available for you to be able to use with your students. And you don't have to be a musician, because you don't have to play the songs. You don't have to be able to play them live with your guitar or with instruments. You can just play a pre-recorded one. You can always bring a drum or a pot and a pan and a spoon, and you can have them hit the rhythm on a drum to help add to the experience. But again, you don't have to necessarily do that. You can always use pre-recorded music. The idea is to use music as the tool, as the vehicle to teach these more challenging concepts. All right, so we talked about math, reading. Let me give you an example here. Again, this is from the same company, Prelude Music, and this is called the Letter Bear Song. And so it's a book that has all these different bears in it with all the their different names. And I created the little hearts that have the letters, and the kids have to match the letter to the bear that has the name that starts with it. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because you have to be able to know how the song goes, but you could always make it up, all right? But the melody of this song is, since my friend is online here, I'll go ahead and use her name, but Mallory, take a heart that has an M, and put it on the letter bear, that bear who starts with M. Okay, so you can just make up the melody though, but I wanted to show you an example of how you can use a song to teach the individual letters, the initial sounds of words, but you're doing it with the names of the bear. And this was taken from Prelude Music Therapy. If you work with thematic units, which I know a lot of teachers do, you can also use songs within your thematic unit. So within that Prelude Music Therapy and other music resources that are available, there are songs, that the address and telephone song. Oh, I can tell you there are a lot of students I've worked with that have really had a hard time learning their address and phone number, and we want them to be able to know that just in case they ever get lost, God forbid. We want them to be able to know their information. There's also a song about food categories if you're doing a thematic unit on health and nutrition. The animals, I mean, you can imagine there are tons of songs about animals. For transportation, if you're teaching the concepts of transportation, there's a song called Take Me Riding, and there's another one called Row and Drive in, again, this book called Prelude Music Therapy. And on YouTube, as well as in many children's CTs, there's also songs about the weather and teaching about hot and cold and when it's sunny or cloudy, and we can teach those concepts through songs. All right, ooh, we're running out of time here. I want to make sure to be able to get through everything. So let's go ahead and move on to language arts. Grammar could be a really challenging concept to also teach. Adjectives, interjections, conjunctions, adverbs. Well, I can tell you that Schoolhouse Rock has a song for almost every concept that's in our grammar, at least a majority of them. So I just want to show you one of my favorite ones growing up. It was the song Interjections. And so let me pull that one up. It's from Schoolhouse Rock. It brings back great memories for me.
When Reginald was home with one mom, the doctor knew just what to do. He cured the infection with one small injection, while Reginald uttered some interjections.
Hey, that's smart. Ouch, that hurt. Yeah, that's not fair. Giving a guy a shot down there.
Interjections.
Hey,
Something.
yeah. Ouch.
They're generally set apart from a sentence by an exclamation point or by a comma when the feeling is not as strong.
All right, I think that kind of gives you the idea. I just think it's the cutest way to teach these concepts. The Schoolhouse Rock is just fantastic. I really highly recommend it. It brings me great memories when I was a child growing up. And they're all out there on YouTube for free for you to use. All right, so we can also use songs to teach figurative language, such as alliteration, rhyme, metaphor, simile, quite higher level concepts in language arts. And you can also teach personification. For example, the song One Direction, What Makes You Beautiful? can be used to teach various forms of figurative language. And then also the song from Katy Perry called Roar. And so let me just show you an example here. All right, so I'm sure that most of you are familiar with Katy Perry and the song Roar, very popular song right now. And so, I'm sorry, not the song Roar, Fireworks. Whew, I'm losing my mind. So the song Fireworks. And this activity was actually created by a teacher called Tracy Orman, and you can find her on teacherspayteachers.com. She has a variety of really cool activities using music to teach various concepts in language arts. So in this activity that she created, she wanted the students to look at the lyrics of the song Fireworks and then find different types of poetic devices, such as a simile, a hyperbole. So she showed them, do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Well, where's the simile there? The simile is you feeling like a plastic bag. Like a house of cards, one blow from caving in. There's two concepts there. We're teaching the concept of, again, of the simile, of you're feeling like a house of cards, and the hyperbole, which is an exaggeration of you caving in. Then you can teach alliteration, which is when you have the beginning sound of words repeated, the same letter sound repeated in a sentence or in lyrics. So 6 feet under scream, but no one seems to hear a thing. So here we have 6 scream seems. And then in the portion of the lyric that says just own the night like the 4th of July. Well, there's personification, that concept, because it implies that the 4th of July can own something. And obviously a day in the year can't actually own something. So it's able to teach personification. And lastly, we have a metaphor that you are a firework. So what a cool way to teach these concepts, but with a song that these kids are familiar with. I really like this activity so much when I found it online, because it really exemplified the concept that I'm trying to teach here today, which is the power of music to teach concepts to students, not only students with special needs, but even typically developing students. I would be more motivated to learn about metaphors and hyperboles and alliteration with a cool song by Katy Perry versus maybe a piece of literature that I don't really connect with. And yeah, so we have to teach Shakespeare, and we have to teach all of those classics in literature, but to begin the instruction of these concepts, why not use songs to get the child to at least understand the concept at a basic level and be motivated to learn about it, and then transfer the concept to the literature that you need them to learn from an academic standpoint. So again, this is from Tracy Orman at teacherspayteachers.com. Some other ideas is to teach history. Billy Joel, the song We Didn't Start the Fire, it goes over a lot of historical events within the lyrics. So that song can be used for the individuals to kind of go on a history hunt and find out the different concepts. And School of Rock also has a series of historical videos, such as the Declaration of Independence and I'm a Bill. So these are all examples. All right. So lastly, I wanted to talk to you about using music for writing. And you might say, well, again, I'm not a musician. I can't write a song. That's okay. You can rewrite the lyrics to a popular song, like you can rewrite the lyrics to Fireworks. Do you ever feel like, and the students can fill in the blank. Same thing with the song Favorite Things. Let me give you that example. And oh, I just love talking about music, and I sometimes get caught up and didn't realize the little time that we have left together. So I want to make sure to be able to show you this example. So most of you will probably know the song My Favorite Things. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, black copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. So now you can leave it blank, where the student is going to fill in the blanks with their own ideas. Or for a student that really is at a higher level of expressive writing, they can actually rewrite the whole thing. So blank and blank and blank and blank, these are a few of my favorite things. So you can modify it to the level of the child's ability. For a child who is even at a more complex learning level, you can have picture symbols. And instead of them writing the words next to raindrops on blank, they can select from a variety of picture symbols that you've given them, and they can paste it on the line to fill in the blank. All right? You can also do it as a comprehension activity. You can leave them blank, have the lyrics on a chart, and then have them working on their own individual paper, and all of the answers to the fill in the blank are on the side with picture symbols, and they have to come up and match or actually select the correct word that goes into the song. So it could be a comprehension activity, it could be an expressive writing activity, it could be a matching activity, all done through the lyrics of a song. And at the end, I just have some music resources for you. This is a really great resource, the Songs for Teaching. Actually, all of them are, but I really like the Songs for Teaching because it really is more academic based and helps you come up with ideas for teaching math, reading, writing, science. These are some more resources. Teachers Pay Teachers is a great website, just as Pinterest is, but with Teachers Pay Teachers, you can actually download some free things, and then there are things that might cost $1 or $2.99, like that Katy Perry fireworks activity. I think you could download the whole thing for $2.99. It has the lesson plan, it has the lyrics, it has the charts that you need. Everything is all there in Teachers Pay Teachers. And then these are the references that I provided for you. The one that I referenced a variety of times was Prelude Music, and those are the ones that have the file folder activities.